All right, so Frank, we're back. Nice to see you as always.
Nice to see you too. Lovely working with you, Jordan.
Likewise. All right, so today we're going to talk about AutoSell, which we've done some videos about before, or we've at least explained before in some way. But today we just want to focus on that. So first, Frank, tell me. I think people know what AutoSell is, so maybe we can touch on that briefly. But more so, why should they care? Like, why should they use AutoSell in their positions? What are the scenarios in which they would want to use it?
Yeah, so an auto sell allows you to set up a recurring sell order on your position. And in Summerfy, how you set it up is you choose a trigger loan to value and a target loan to value. So, for example, you are at 2x, which means that your loan to value is at 50%. But once, if the price moves against you, so moves, for example, to 3x, then you can set your trigger LTV to be at 66%, and move it back to 50%, for example, so that every time the price moves against you in that direction, you sell a uh, part of your collateral to pay back some of your debt.
Okay.
So that's the what a auto sell is. Yeah.
And why would a user use this verse like other than stop loss, or in not with stop loss per se, but like how do they think about it versus some other type of downside protection?
Yeah. So in an auto sell works great, especially if you have a target multiple or LTV that you want to be at, and like if you're especially if you're quite trading quite close to your liquidation threshold, then you might want to set up an auto sell first to just keep you in the position, and then you can have like a minimum, there's a minimum sell price, and uh, from the minimum sell price you can say, okay, from this price I want to be stopped out. So like they work great in tandem, but also work great in isolation. And what's also good to note is that especially for larger positions, we would recommend setting up an auto sell first, because like at in a stop loss, we immediately market sell the entire depth of your position, and that's like if you have like a $10 million plus position, then like a stop loss can cause like major price impact. So yeah, you might want to not have a stop loss at for your $10 million plus position, but you might want to have an auto sell, which just sells a little bit to protect yourself.
Okay. Awesome. So sounds like gradually reducing risk over time. Um, so let's get into it. Let's see how to use like how to set it up basically, and I'll ask you some 20 IQ questions um,
Great.
for the uh, for the left curve among us.
Yeah. So this is a Rep Bitcoin USDC position. Actually, it has a current multiple of 2x and a current LTV of about 50%. It's just $78.5, but that's fine because it's on AVV3 on Arbitrum, which allows you to have these sizes of positions. And the auto sell is in the protection tab. So you can set it up by clicking setup, then setting your trigger at, for example, the 66, which I just mentioned, and you might want to have your target at 50%.
So explain these things to me, Frank. What is a trigger?
Sure.
What is a target?
Yeah, so the trigger LTV is the moment when your auto sell will become eligible, and the target is what your auto sell will target. So with a trigger of 66 and a target of 50, you're moving, like you're allowing your LTV to be moved when it reaches 66, to be moved back to 50. And what that means in reality is that, so like we write it down here in natural language. So you are creating a recurring sell action to trigger at a LTV of 66%, decreasing it to your target LTV of 50%. And initially it will execute with that, the 47,678 rep Bitcoin per USDC. So
So
at the
what's the
current
price?
price,
Right.
the current
Yeah.
price is 63,000. So there's like a 15,000 decrease that can happen. If you want, you can also set it up a lot more tight. So, for example, set it up at like with a 5% deviation, so that if it just drops a little bit. So there's this that you need to set up, like the sell target and sell trigger, and then there's the minimum sell price that you need to define. You can set this to no threshold, and what that means is you don't care about the minimum level that you will sell at, but you can also say, okay, at 40,000. At 40,000, that's the absolute minimum that I want to sell at. And why is this helpful? Well, you might want to set up set this as like the lower bound target, and then, as I said before, have a stop loss right below that.
Right.
So so that you're protected in every scenario, basically.
And you wouldn't want to use a trailing stop loss with auto sell, is that right? Because it doesn't seem like it would make much sense.
So at the setup stage, it does make sense, but at the moment that the that like your bullish hypothesis holds true, and like the price goes up, and therefore your trailing stop loss crosses your crosses the minimum sell price of your of your auto sell. At that moment, then the auto sell will never trigger anymore.
Right. Oh, so in that case, it does make sense. If you want to express that view of you want to capture profits
Yes.
instead of selling a little bit. Okay, so it does actually make sense. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it only makes sense well, it makes sense for as long as those prices haven't crossed, basically.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And we highlight that at the moment that it happened.
Great.
So yeah, so there's some order information here. So the target LTV after each sell is 50%. The target multiple is 2x. The trigger LTV to perform each automated sell is at 55. We also show the deviation to which we accept like this as a valid transaction, which is between 49 and 51, and that is in order to protect you, so that we cannot just auto sell and say that the trigger was valid, even though that it sold a lot more than you asked for. We also show how much collateral you will have after your next sell, and your outstanding debt after the next sell, and the amount to be sold at the next sell, and the max gas fee as well. And as this is Arbitrum, it's just a cent, which is great. So
Awesome.
let's set it up.
Boom.
Boom. And there we have it. So now it's updated here. The trigger LTV to sell Wrapped Bitcoin is at 55%. Your next sell price is at 57,000. Your target is at 50, and this is a recurring sell order down to 40,000 rep Bitcoin to USDC.
Wow, incredible. So this basically means that if the price dumps to 57,000, I'm gonna sell a little bit, maybe at a poor price, could be, but that's subjective. But my position will be safer. Um, and if I wanted to take more risk or take advantage of buying um, more BTC at 57K or below 57K, I could do that manually or even automated,
Yeah.
and take more risk if I wanted.
Yeah, and the great thing about the Summerfy automations is you can always continue to use your position manually, so you can continue to adjust your risk and to set up an auto buy with it, automate your exit strategy with a take profit. It's made easy.
Beautiful.
And as always, like if you have any questions about AutoSell, please put them down in the comments below, or let us know on our Discord. And please give a thumbs up to our YouTube video. It's always appreciated.
Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. See you next time.
Great. Until next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.